On Saturday, November 11th, join us for ASA Podcasting's 12-hour charity event featuring a Skyrim addict, the Fallout Feed, the Chatterbox, My Journey with Cystic Fibrosis, Game Talk, Awesome Spaceship, Earwash, and more. All funds raised will be donated to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Help us surpass the $2,500 raised in 2016. Full details and schedule can be found at asapodcasting.com.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess. As the soul survivor wanders out about to leave the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Welcome back to the Fallout Feeds Fallout New Vegas Roundtable Blighty edition, or Nigel, as we've come to calling it. Nigel. My name's Colin. I'm calling in from Essex in England, and my character is, let's see, like a strength and intelligence-based character by the name of The Courier. And with me today, I have two fellow Blightoniers. I'm sure that's the term. It's Blightoneer, right?
I think
if
so.
not, I've just invented it, and it'll be in the thesaurus next week.
What about Nigelite?
Nigelite, that's, yeah.
Nigelites, yeah.
I like that.
And
your prize for coming up with Nigelite there, Mr. Sir, is you get to introduce yourself next.
My name's Marcus, calling in from Wiltshire, which is the arse end of nowhere. And my character is an ex-NCR sniper called Lucky Bart Stewart. And so he's been slowly bloodying his nose across the wastelands and pretty much shooting anything that moves.
Yes, lots of faces being shot in Marcus's game. So, yeah, moving swiftly on, and to our other host, our guest, or compatriot, Nigelite. There we go, Nigelite. It does have its use. To our fellow Nigelite, Laura.
Yes, it's Laura, host of Westport Radio, and I am calling in from a delightful corner of southwest London known as Collier's Wood. It's great. And my character is called Iris, and she is an ex-inhabitant of Vault 81, and she left because she just, like all girls, she just wanted to have fun. So she's left Vault 81 in the Commonwealth and has kind of walked out, kept on going, has found herself in the Mojave, and she is a talkative, lucky character. She's not particularly strong, doesn't have much endurance, but she's got great speech checks, and she does seem to be ridiculously lucky. So that's kind of her. So she goes out for all the fun things, and yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Awesome. I was just having a think, and I was wondering, with your perks and that, seeing as we've started introducing our character and kind of like what they started out with, so, and that's, I think, pretty much because we're all still fairly, well, I say that, still fairly early on level-wise. Is there any attributes that you've started to change from your original attributes? Like, was there something that you got intense training for quickly to get rid of?
Really, my character. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not so at the moment. The only thing I think I boosted quickly was lockpick, because it was really, really annoying me that I couldn't even get into easy locks. So I pushed that up because I just like to find sweet loot. So I sort of bumped that up. But I have actually been continually raising my speech, because I always find that just a really useful thing to have, just to be like able to kind of get whatever you want in a conversation, as I definitely I would always prefer to talk my way out of a situation, because you live longer that way, really.
True.
And, I think I'd much rather do that. So, but yeah, because I've got like melee as one of my skills in it, and I've just got my special was just not built for that. I can't remember what it was to start off with, but it was pitiful. So I haven't really. Will start once I've got a few of the sort of basic things. Once I've kind of got my speech up a bit more, and sort of lockpick, and maybe sort of increase science a bit. Although my science is pretty high because that was one of my perks, or traits, whichever one it is. I think we will start trying to build up sort of like the unarmed sort of, and just a bit of unarmed, bit of sort of hand to hand sort of melee weapons, and just try and work on that. Because typically when I do normally play, I'm a big fan of just like either sort of weapons or just being able to go in and hit everything that moves really, really hard. I always I generally really like melee, so being kind of stuck without being absolutely crap at the moment with anything that's not a gun is quite annoying.
Your
But it's a different
endurance
playstyle.
Yeah, your endurance was quite low when you started off. Have you increased that at all?
I have increased the endurance. Yeah, that was one of the other things. I can't remember what my endurance was to start with. I have to try and find the picture of my stats. But it was not great.
Yeah, because we've got a good friend of the show, Jack Rowe, and he's a big Fallout fan, and he loves the melee in Fallout New Vegas. He has a special of where he likes to kill with a power fist.
See, that's fun. Yeah, my endurance was it was 3 to begin with. So yeah, it's been upped, and it's the same with my sort of intelligence. I've been working probably on the intelligence a little bit more because I'd like to be good at, like, seeing as I've got science as like a tag skill. It would be really helpful if I was smart enough to use it.
Yeah, melee and low endurance just doesn't work.
Exactly. Science and low intelligence doesn't work either. It was a terrible role.
And Pooch and Screw comes to mind.
Yeah, it was. But the talk. But because I can talk my way out of things, I've been quite fortunate with most situations I've come across. I haven't had any real. I think I've only had one sort of like so far. I think real like full on firefight that I don't think I could have got out of any way yet. So everything else has been quite genteel, I think.
Nice. And Marcus, what about yourself? What about your original stats, your specials?
Well, I haven't really changed anything on mine because I had a fairly decent-ish roll to start off with perception of 5 was a little bit low, but with my I decided to go with Boone and Eddie for my companions to sort of flesh out my sort of snipery style, and that seems to have covered it quite well so far. The only thing I did make sure of was to put my guns all the way at the top, because the flip side of the coin to Laura, I do all of my talking with my pistols and rifle. So
did you have a charisma of 1 or something?
Oh yes, charisma of 1. I'm rolling that bad boy all the way till the end. I'm just gonna I'm not going to change that at all.
I'm running with my endurance of 1 as well. I'm just running with it. Okay, that's why I was asking, because I got was it an endurance of 1 and a perception of 2. It's now 3 because I'm wearing a hat. I was thinking about getting an implant to increase my perception, and then maybe I think I'm going to mess around with perception, but I think I'm going to stick with endurance and leave it right at the bottom. Just leave it there, not increase it anyway.
I think the only thing I haven't really used so far is anything to do with survival, because I'm not going through that sort of route. I thought I'd just take it a little bit easy this time around, not give myself too many things to go by. I mean, I know being a sniper and all the rest of it makes it a little bit easier because I pretty much destroy and decimate people from afar, but I survival.
It only has really effect when you're playing on hardcore mode. But when you're playing on hardcore mode, that means your followers can die and your stim packs go slower, and then you can only heal crippled limb with doctor's bags and stuff like that. It just gets a giant pain in the do sometimes, especially when you got limited playtime.
Yeah.
I've just got endless playtime, so I can spend entire days just playing, so it doesn't really bother me. But I know a lot of people have got they get like 2-3 hours a week or something like that at most they can play. So I just done it with we're starting the Oblivion roundtable, and I was like near hardest level and stuff like that. Well, it doesn't have a level; it just sort of like has this arrow that moves. I realized, why am I spending all this time just trying to clear one thing? I don't know this game as well I do as the other, so I pushed it all the way down to the end today. So it's all on the easier setting, and I'm just playing it through story wise. So just looking for the story instead of a really tough, hard fight battle thing. So
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I just find that sometimes that at the moment, at least, because I haven't played New Vegas as much as other Fallout titles, I've just sort of decided to sort of pay a little bit more attention to the storyline rather than try and bog myself down with like hardness settings.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck, especially with the slow play, because I've actually been finding a few things that I've never done as well because of the roundtable, because we're slow playing this. So I think if we can get into some of the main quests that we're supposed to get into, and then we can move on to stuff that, extra stuff that we get on to towards the end. So let's see, the quests that we're supposed to do this week were they went that away, and my kind of can't one, and my kind of town, and cold hearth. And
except I think it's heart, isn't it? I think that's it.
Yeah, it is heart. Yeah.
Yeah, the I'm trying to find if I still have it for one. Yeah, so basically, they went that away. Is basically Sunny Smiles at the end there said that you ask her, and she says, "Oh, if you head down to head down the road, you can't miss it. It's the town with the roller coaster at the back of the casino."
Yeah.
So you head down there. I'm trying to find this on Tinternet so I can say anything interesting about it, but I can't find it. But basically, you head down into Prim, looking for information on the guys who shot you, or the guy who shot you. So you go down to Prim, and you run across a couple of geckos and that. And as you're on your way in, you see an NCR flag, and an NCR soldier sees you coming, and he kind of runs up to you. And new people to the game will sort of like, pull the gun out. Do I need to shoot this guy or not? Which I always recommend, that whenever somebody starts running towards you, pull your gun out and usually shoot them before they even get to you. But because then they're right in your grill. But he comes up to you and he says, like, Prim's off limits, and some powder gangers have come in and started to take over the town and stuff like. And then you're like, well, why aren't you doing anything? He's like, oh, we haven't got the men. Okay, well, I'll go in there on my own then. So you go in there on your own, and what you have to do is you have to clear out some of the bandits outside, some of the powder gangers who are they're not called powder gangers, are they?
I think they are.
Are they yeah, I think they are, because even though they're escaped prisoners or whatever, they're still.
That's it. Yeah, they're called escaped convicts, and they're not called powder gangers.
Yeah, except they are powder gangers, because they still got out of. When you go to the prison, they still kind of call themselves that, don't they? Or they talk about the dynamite or something along those lines.
I think the reason why they did that is for the for at that point you don't mess around with the sort of like your
Fame,
your
not
fame
fame.
thing. Yeah, so I think they had to change it physically on that so that it didn't mess up how it all went with the game. So you could actually choose after that where you were going. But yeah, I think you're right. I think they were actually called escaped prisoners or escaped convicts.
No. So you go in there and you wander around and you kill a few of these because they're attacking you on sight. And you end up going into the casino on one. You can go into a few different buildings. There's Deputy Beagle's house. There's the sheriff's house, and then there's a few other houses on the opposite side. But if you go into the Vicky and Vance casino, you will find I've forgotten his first name, Mr. Nash, the guy who runs the Mojave Express. And he's in there and he tells you, find out from him that some guys have come over, that's taken over the town, and they're all locked in there, sort of like, keeping away from them, and sort of like if they're coming in there, they're going to get shot. But if you want information, Deputy Beagle is the one who saw the guys who shot you. So if you want information about that, you're going to have to go in and rescue Deputy Beagle from inside. I can't remember the name of the one. What's the casino's name with the roller coaster?
Bison Steve? No,
Bison Steve. Hotel. Yeah, that's it. It's in the Bison Steve hotel. Yeah. So the Vicky and Vance is the casino. That's where you meet Nash.
Yeah.
And then over in the Bison Steve is where what's his name? Deputy Beagle.
Yeah.
And so you have to go in there, kill all the other bandits, or you don't have to. You can go in there, get to Beagle, and to be able to either get him to give you the information or somehow get the information from him. So let's start with Laura. Sort of like kind of when you first got into town, sort of like, how did you approach it, really?
Well, like I approach most things in life, just kind of walk, because I've not really played this before, and I don't believe in sort of being careful, so I kind of just wandered straight, kind of through the middle of the main street, and I saw the Mojave Express, and I think that was the first thing. I don't think I was quite getting shot at just then. I think I somehow avoided. I did get shot before I went to the Mojave Express, because I think I turned a corner and there were two people, so I dispatched them because they shot first. And then I went into the Mojave Express because I thought, I guess on the basis that, well, my character, I was a courier for them, and if I'm going to find out anything as to what the job I was doing before I got shot in the head, maybe that would be a good place to look. So I did go into the Mojave Express, but there was just broken Eddie on the table, and a few, there wasn't a great deal in there, so the radio was playing and stuff like that. So I kind of was a bit disappointed. I think I wandered around a bit, and then I can't remember if anyone else tried to shoot me. And then I walked straight into the Vicky and Vance casino. I think that happened quite quickly, so I didn't really overly explore before I started talking to all the people inside the casino. So
he just grabs you though when you walk through the door, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of a straightaway, isn't it? You don't get to, and then I did chat to a few of the other people. I think they chatted to the robot that's in there and read the stuff about the car. And Vicky and Vance, their lovely, romantic tale of crime and accidental death, as it turns out to be.
That's quite hilarious.
It's a good story. I liked it.
It's and then it can continue out in the wasteland. Just no spoilers, but there's
I did speak about the gun not being there, and then the robot didn't seem to understand that the robot was telling me, no, it is there. It's like, no, it's not. And then you're like, oh, this robot might have been hacked. So I'm guessing something's going on there, or someone's stolen it for whatever reason. So I did come across that, and then I just went into the hotel, and I did this I think almost like straight after the whole Good Springs thing. I didn't really level up at all. So the first time I went into the hotel to start taking people down, it was a bit of a surprise because there's quite a few people. Like initially coming through the door, there's quite a few people in there, but eventually I sort of worked out, okay, you don't have the ability to play like you normally play, which is going in, beating the crap out of people. If you run out of ammo, just use the melee weapons and just kill everyone that way. obviously, because I can't do that because I have 0 strength or endurance or just anything particularly useful, I had to sort of stealth approach it. So like the only weapons I had really of use for the only thing I had a lot of ammo for was my 9mm. So I just kind of crawled through it quite slowly by just sort of like stealthily taking people out, or as best I could stealthily take people out. So and pick up a few useful bits and pieces as I went through. So again, yeah, very much a different playthrough style for me. And I was a bit sort of annoyed because I still don't think it's quite with my character. I think my character is still a bit more like, yeah, would rather live longer, but when does have to fight is a bit more, everything firing all at once, which is now I've kind of worked my way up. I can do that a bit better, so we're getting there on that one. But yeah, and then I went through, found Mr. Beagle guy. They tried to not help me to fight my way out. Told him that wasn't going to happen. No, I was like, that was just so straight away. It's like, oh yeah, you go. And it's like, no, you're helping. It's like, also surprisingly easy to do. He was a bit of a shit. Obviously, he was a bit of a shit deputy. Was my initial thought on meeting him.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible police officer. And yeah, so
I think his qualification was he was the brother of the sheriff's wife. He was the brother-in-law to the sheriff. That was his qualifications.
Oh, right. There you go. That's how law enforcement should work, obviously. Yeah, and then you go back in there, and then he's not particularly useful, I think, at any point, really, Sheriff Beagle. He's just like, you kind of rescue him, and then he's straight away like, yeah, anyway, so you need to find a sheriff. Surely that's not you now, because you're the only deputy still around, so you should be it. So yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with him, mostly because again the quest that follows sort of that bit is the go and find the sheriff kind of thing, and it's like they want to do that, and it's just I think by my character, it's like, okay, no, I've had the fun bit. This does not seem finding you guys a new sheriff is not on my the fun things I'd like to be doing with my life kind of thing, and also getting in the way of finding out who shot me in the head. Yeah. So
did he tell you the information of where they went without you having to do the quest to get the sheriff, or did you have to get the sheriff for him to give you the information?
I think I did have to. Did I have to go to? No, I didn't. I think I vaguely remember thinking I got all the information I needed, but the only reason I had to go back was because it was like sort of kind of on the list of quests we had to do. So I was like, oh, okay, I think I have to do this one. I think something forced me into it, but I don't think he gave me a great deal of information. I think it's so the first guy you speak to when you go into Vicky Advances, I think he gave me far more useful information, because he's the one who tells you that someone saw your name on the list.
Yeah.
And made you deliberately take that parcel. So that was a more useful thing I found out from being there, is that you were sort of specifically targeted for whatever reason to take that item that then led to you being shot in the head. So I think that was actually more useful rather than anything I think I got out of Sheriff Beagle or Deputy Beagle.
And yourself, Marcus? Do you have a fun in the Bison Steed?
I did indeed. Good old Betsy, my extended mag 9mm scoped pistol, and I did some aggressive diplomacy, and essentially I inserted lead into every single thing that moved into that building, and I got all the way to the point where you see Deputy Beagle. Had a quick chat with him. He said that he wanted to get untied and run away, basically. So I put a bullet in the back of his head and took the journal off of him, and read that and found out where everyone was going, and walked out of the building and got Eddie from the building by stealing all of the components from around the area and walked off.
So you didn't end up doing the get the sheriff quest?
Nope.
Awesome.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah, I just walked in there basically like a blizzard. Just walked in, fucked everything up, and then just walked back out again. I love it.
Yeah.
It's good. See, I felt compelled to do it because the quest thing told me, and I was not happy about having to do the finding the sheriff quest because, as I said, that was not my character. Does not have any interest in helping out a town find a sheriff. But did it? I did. Did it? Indeed, I did.
Now, I had a terrible time in that bison, Steve. Outside, I was fine because what I did is I jumped up on the the roller coaster tracks and walked up and all the way around and then came in the side door and cleared out the upstairs first. I was fine with that. I had my caravan shotgun with me and literally sort of like, I could sneak in, get close because my sneak was okay by then. And I get around, get close, and they'd come a running. Once I come around the corner, then it was just like 2 shots from the shotgun right to the face. That's it. They were dead. So I managed to clear the upside pretty quickly and pretty easily, and got some crappy gear out of there. But when I went downstairs to start clearing out, I had a terrible time. Sometimes they'd find out I was there really quickly. And other times when I was trying to trap them, like I would lay down a mine, shoot them from afar, and get them to run towards it. They never reacted, or they never sort of ran towards where the mine was. They'd run to the opposite side. I was getting a little bit ticked off. I died about 4 or 5 times there trying to get through that part, just the downstairs part. But yeah, I finally done it. So I just killed everything upstairs, killed everything downstairs, and then I went talk to Beagle. And when I was talking to Nash inside the Vic events, I didn't go through all his speech options because I started talking about Eddie and sort of like what you've got for sale and sort of like stuff like that. And I didn't go through all the speech options, so I didn't get the advancement to where he said, "Oh, if you need to know this information, you need to talk to Beagle. So you need to get to Beagle." I never got that bit. So when I rescued Beagle, he wasn't giving me the option to give me the information to move on.
Oh.
I was trapped. So the only information I got was we need a new sheriff, and I was like, I don't. I wasn't 100% sure, so I thought, oh crap, well I'm going to have to go and get a sheriff before I move the quest along. So I killed everything, rescued him, then I went off to get the sheriff. But using foreknowledge, I didn't want to get the NCR guys in because they were going to put the taxes up, so he was going to charge him more in the shop. And when we done the Powders Gangers quest earlier on in Good Springs, for the first time, and I didn't know how it happened. I've got a theory, but when I killed all the Powder Gangers, I wasn't vilified. I was only hated.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so because I was only hated, they didn't attack me on sight. So I was saying earlier on that I think that it was because maybe one of the townspeople killed Cobb, because I was using the mercenary grenade rifle, so there was body parts flying everywhere. But I think the killing blow on Cobb must have been from one of the townspeople, and I just killed all of them, but not Cobb. So therefore, I just got hated instead of vilified. So I could go near them. They wouldn't they weren't particularly nice, but they wouldn't attack me on sight. So I managed just to walk into the prison. I walked up to the prison, walked to the guy outside, paid him 100 caps, and got inside, talked to Myers, and I said, "Oh, do you want to go and be sheriff of blah blah blah?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do that." And he goes, "But I need to get a pardon from the NCR, or else they're just going to come back and then throw me back in prison as if I'm an escaped convict. I don't want that." So he runs off to Prim, and you have to go all the way up to the Mojave outpost and then convince them that he served his time. I think it was only a speech 30 check. I had to drink some whiskey or something like that just to get over the speech 30. And then I done all of that, and then he still wouldn't give me the follow-on for the next quest. I was like, what? And then I realized I went in and talked to Nash. Nash gave me the rest of the thing, and then he just instantly, so I done a whole bit of quest in there that I didn't really need to. I probably would have done it anyway for the experience points and stuff like that.
Well, for the experience points, I went to the jail and I sniped all of the people out of the tower and then went in and destroyed everyone. but I didn't realise, obviously, because I wasn't really paying much attention, that there was 2 people in there that were named, and I shot them as they were running away from me. So obviously the sheriff guy I've already killed.
See, for me, I quite enjoyed the quest, although it was a bit back and forth for me because I don't have any prior knowledge of the game. So I sort of saw that it was one of the quests I wanted to round table. So even though my character is the last thing I'd probably want to do, I was like, fine. So I thought, but I initially thought, well, the truth is this is a boring quest for her, so she's going to go path of least resistance. So who's nearest, right? It's the NCR. Let's go and see if we can get them to come in. And so I spoke to them, and they said, "Yep, all right, we'll go." Again, having a high speech deck is not. I didn't really have to do much to kind of get them to convince them that they wanted to send a unit out there. But then when you speak to Lieutenant, whatever his name is, in his tent, and that always has one other woman in it. So just saying. So he's obviously getting. He's never outside the tent. He's always in it with a woman. He's having a good time, is Lieutenant Hayes. So I spoke to him, and then he's like, yeah, we'll do this, but we'll, raise the taxes and do all that kind of stuff. And obviously for Iris, that is not something she is a fan of at all, as much as she appreciates the need for law and order and, tolerates the people like the NCR because, ultimately they are just trying to do the right thing. So she doesn't have too much of a problem with that. But yeah, taxes and sort of extra laws over a town that seem to be doing quite happily, aside from, when the powder gang has escaped, which is technically the NCR's fault anyway, if I'm correct in thinking, because they're the ones who gave them dynamite. So basically the town was doing fine, then the NCR let their prisoners escape, which ruined the town. So why would I let the NCR so then the thinking is, why would I then let the NCR take care of the town when they're the ones who kind of screwed it up to begin with? So I was like, no, let me think on it. I'll be back in a bit. And I realized then I had to go to the prison, which I knew just instinctively, because it's Fallout, that's going to involve me having to shoot a lot of people. Plus, I'm vilified by the powder gangers. So, so that was fun. So I went in, did a lot of killing people, chatted to Mercer. And then he's like, oh, no, but I need a pardon. So I had to go back to the NCR. This was a bit annoying, having to do this back and forth thing, obviously, because of my error in the first place. I just don't like quests that are back and forth. It's like the water temple in Zelda. So I hate things like that. So I went and got the pardon. Again, fortunately, speech check very high, so that was quite simple. And then I went back and put him in, and and all the town people were very happy, aside from one person who apparently was obviously a glitch because they were clearly stuck on the phrasing. Their dialogue was still that, they've sold out to the NCR, some people take the easy route. And it's like, no, I did not do that. You've got this whole new sheriff. Listen to everyone else in the town. They're all saying how great my new sheriff is, who's a lawman through and through, and all those kind of things. So, it was a good quest, and I enjoyed it for the experience and stuff. And for me, is not having played it before, I guess it's quite good for me just to kind of get to know as many people as I can in the Mojave, which sort of works with the character to a certain extent. So that was so did that one, and then headed off for whichever I can't even remember what I did next after that. That's whatever the next quest was, I guess. Once I'd freed myself of the shackles of Prim.
Yeah, I think it was kind of getting the easy way out of where I could just walk in and I think get Myers, kill all the prisoners or anything like that. But the good thing about it, the bonus you get for getting Myers, so hardware, instead of just going up, getting the NCR, coming back down, and just basically just going back and forth, and that's it. By clearing out the prison, or some of the prison, you get and Nash from then on there says he gives you a bit of a discount, but it's like a 50% discount.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So it's like literally everything is half price.
That's good.
I couldn't believe it. So I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna so now I pretty much buy all my big stuff from him. I always go back and check with him. Well, I'll check with all the vendors anyway to see if they've got new modding or any new shells. But yeah,
that's good to know. Good to know indeed.
And did you happen to? Because I know this from memory because it's pretty easy. Did you happen to pick up your follower when you were there, Marcus?
Or Eddie?
Yeah, you stole all the components, didn't you? I remember now.
Yep.
Stole all the components from everybody and
Yep.
then fixed them and then left.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, I've not done that. I have not, because I haven't stolen the components, and it's just, I don't think I have still. Eddie is still rusting away on Nash's desk in the Mojave Express office. I'm afraid at the moment, on the counter. He's not been picked up. I will get round to it, but I think I'll probably be for another day.
Eddie's awesome.
He is very, very useful. Although he's slightly annoying, that he will just enter into combat with anything within range.
I'm pretty sure he hates dogs. Because
Gotcha.
anytime we go anywhere near a coyote, no matter how far away, he goes chasing after it and kills it. It's unbelievable the amount of things. It's like I've got him on passive, whereas it's supposed to be that he doesn't attack anything unless I attack it. But
Yeah,
no,
me too.
no, he just kills absolutely everything. He laid waste to an entire herd of bighorn.
Really?
We're just strolling past him, and he just laid waste to everything because they can't get him up there, can they?
No.
He's too high. He's floating up in the air, so they couldn't reach him. So he just laid waste to the entire bloody herd. I was like, oh, god damn it. Right, well, let me pick up all the meat anyway.
And sort of soak up all the XP.
Yeah.
Adding up in the corner.
But right, from there, so we've got two who got Myers and one that killed Beagle and sort of left the town just to burn basically at the hands of the powder gangers.
And killed Myers as well.
I killed Myers too. Yes, killed the one good man in prison.
Yep.
You wow, I've forgotten his name. Get busy living or get busy dying. So from there we head off again, more than likely to the Mojave outpost, where we pick up a little cut because the next quest leads us off to Nipton, I believe. That's the information we get from Deputy Beagle, is that they headed to Novak through Nipton. So you're heading off there, and then you can see the big statue, the whole map of the Mojave outpost. If you haven't been, oh no, you would have already been there, wouldn't you? Yeah, of course you have. You would have been there to
see the statue.
Yeah.
So you go in there and you can talk to a few people. You've got Cass in there, and if you're looking for a few quests, you've got the one for Ranger Jackson. At the end of that, you'll get a nice service rifle from him for killing all the bugs on the road. Oh, excuse me.
Wasn't where was that? Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was the ranger station, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's like hanging out in there, and you're told by the major guy to just go speak to him, because apparently he runs everything. I am very confused by their rank system, because you just speak to this major guy, and you're like, okay, you're obviously clearly quite important, and then he's like, oh, go speak to Ranger Jackson, he runs everything. It's like, isn't Ranger just like a private for you guys? I don't understand. So what the heck? No wonder you guys are rubbish. Just because he's old doesn't mean he's his experience. I don't know. But yeah, that's very confusing. So Bethesda, maybe think about your writing a bit more next time. I'm sure that's an error.
Pay attention to ranks.
Yes, it's very important to do that.
I think it's that because he's a ranger, so the Rangers, well, you'll hear about it later on in the quest, is that the Rangers are actually the best of the best. They're like an independent organization. Basically, Knight is just a soldier, so he just kind of like answers to the chain of command, whereas Ranger Jackson, he's been literally doing it for like most of his life type thing. I think that's what they're trying to get at. Is that but anyway, getting back to the quests. If we go upstairs, we get to meet Ghost.
Ghost, yep.
And she says that she's got a little quest for you, a little recon quest. That if you're heading through Nipton anyway, can you head down there? And because she can see black smoke and there's like there's nobody, all the roads are dead and everything like that. So can you head down to Nipton, check it out? So you're going that way anyway because you're going to chase after the guys. So, Marcus, do you want to give us a little, like a quick run through of what happens, or how we get through the quest in Nipton?
So basically, I rocked up, and there was some really happy guy running towards me, saying that he'd won a lottery, and he was wearing a powder ganger's thingy. So I shot him. I then went into the first, I think it's the first building on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And I saw this guy called Boxcars, was it?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. He was moaning about his legs being broken. And
talk about the most
the
most foul-mouthed man in all of New Vegas. I couldn't believe it when I first talked to him.
Yeah, he was an absolute asshat. So, yeah, I got as much information out of him as I could, and then I shot him in the legs. Yeah, well, he was moaning about his legs hurting, so I thought I'd shoot them off. So I literally stood there point
Makes
blank.
sense.
Yeah, I mean,
See, I gave him Med-X, even though he was a douche.
well, the thing is, I'd already been messing around somewhere else. So I'd already found that gun. And so I literally stood point blank with that gun and blew his legs off. Literally, his legs just disintegrated off into, like, I think it clipped through the floor or something like that. But his legs were nowhere to be found by the time he finished. It was hilarious. But yeah, so I went through there, and I think, was he part of the? I'm trying to remember. He was a part of a gang, wasn't he?
He's a powder ganger.
That was it. Yeah, was he a powder ganger, or was he another Viper gang?
No, he was a powder ganger.
Yeah,
because you walk in and you speak to him, and he's got like, because I say foul mouth, but he's got some great lines, and he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck is with my fucking luck? He goes, I get my legs beaten to shit, and in walks the powder ganger's fucking Grim Reaper. Fuck, yeah, man.
I remember that. I did have a little bit of a laugh when I heard that. Yeah, but
gives you a bit of a smile to know that your reputation precedes you.
Yeah. I think I actually gained karma from shooting him. I can't remember. You do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like killing a fiend.
Yeah. So I think every powder ganger or anything like that I go up against now, including Legion, I pretty much gain karma. So I sort of offset being a dickhead by like gaining karma by laying waste to everything else that's an ass. But so basically I went through that, and they told me that I think the mayor had done a deal. So I thought, well, obviously the mayor's a dick, so I'll have a little rummage around and see if I can find him, because I can't really remember this part of the game very well. So I thought, well, I'll just go see the mayor and pretty much shoot him or something like that. So I started walking towards town hall, and I can't remember the name of the guy. Is it
Vulpus Inculta? I think.
But, yeah.
Doggy McDoghead.
Yeah. Coyote face.
Yeah. So yeah, old Dog Lips was stood there chatting crap at me, and so because at that point I'd already got Boone as well, because I sort of skipped ahead to go get Boone. I as soon as I walked around the corner, Boone started firing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there wasn't much of a talking going on at that point. So we instantly sort of went straight into combat.
The motherfucker's gonna die.
Yeah, pretty much. So because I had that gun at that point as well, what I found is the easiest way to do it is to run straight into the middle of all of the group of them, because you've got, I think there's three of them that have close CQB weapons, so they've got like bat and a knife and something like that, and then there's 2 others that have guns. So I just ran straight into the middle and then sat on bats and then just aimed 6 shots at heads and just nailed all of them. Because I've got a luck of 9.
Oh, right.
And I've got I think I've got like 6 or 7 shots that I can do with my 9mm, but I can do, I don't know, I think it's 7 or 8 shots I can do with my 9, and I think it's 6 that I can do with my that I can do with that gun. And yeah, I just annihilated them with 1 bullet each. So I was being sort of being very casual with my bullets at that point, and just sort of like pointing my hand at one person, and just pop. But yeah, so that sort of ended rather quickly. Tad.
See, again, this is great doing this, because you sort of think sometimes playing video games, or I think I've naively been thinking, everyone's game experience is kind of probably the same, or there can't be that much variation. And I suppose because if you're playing any of these Fallout games, or any sort of these kind of games where you've got choices in isolation, you don't really understand how much of an achievement it is that they've created games where you can have such different ways to play. So for me, completely different. I'm still on my own, so I walked into Nipton, and just as aside, it sort of no one started shooting me, and I could see on my little HUD that there's lots of figures and they were not red. So I thought, okay, I'll go see what the people are doing, and then you come across the guys who've been crucified, and get told by the that they're close to death, so taking them down would kill them. Okay, and then I saw the Legion guys at the end, so kind of rocked up and had a chat with them, and then got the very long speech about the lottery and how the town was full of sin, and so they made them betray each other. So they persuaded the mayor to get them all down there and fall into a trap, but they'd actually trapped them anyway. And he went on with that, and then he asks you to spread the word of the Legion, and and I held off saying, I think normally, again, sort of with more normal playthrough for me, is I think you get one of the speech options is like, oh, your crimes are despicable and blah, blah, so you basically can rail into them. And I decided against doing that, because I think my character is, like cowards sort of wash themselves, and cowards do live longer. So, so I think, so I sort of held my tongue on that one and just said, yeah, crazy person wearing a dog head, I will totally tell people about what you did. And then they all wander off, and you're just kind of left in this town where really horrific things have happened. As you find out, I think is it Boxcars or whatever, he tells you that they set the mayor on fire on a pile of tires, which is that's just, the games are quite graphic, but that's quite a graphic sort of image. And really, like the Fallout games, you're used to like blowing people's heads up and
eyeballs landing on the floor.
Yeah, and occasionally you go into rooms, people have obviously died not particularly well, but this is sort of like quite a visual, in the description. Oh yeah, they just threw them on a pile of burning tires, and you find a couple of there's 2 sites where it could have happened. I think there's 2 flaming fire pits with sort of what appears to be a sort of crucifixion stake still stuck in them. So like, okay, yeah, this is quite graphic, and you've got sort of 6 or so of the powder gangers hanging up. So I did decide to shoot them all.
Yeah, I did that too.
Out of their misery, because I thought that was probably the better. After it was like, they're going to die anyway, I was like, well, let's not drag this out. So I just used a Magnum revolver and blew off every single one of their heads. And then I went into the town hall, and then there were lots and lots of dogs in there, and I was like, it's not worth it. So I left the town hall. I did look in a few of the other houses. I sort of gave up with the one that I think the second you walk through the door, there's a shotgun thing. I was like, nope, not doing this. But I did find the house with the Mr. Gutsy in it. So I found that had some quite useful stuff in it, and quite a lot of food in a lot of the houses, which is quite handy. So I had a good little dig around of the town, and sort of looked at the burning bodies and random sort of flags of the Legion, etc. And then I headed back to the outpost to tell Ghost what was occurring.
Yeah, she's and she's very enthused about what.
Yeah, she
happened
like
there.
doesn't seem to care. Like, she's like, oh, it's a shithole of a town, and you're like, yeah, but still, they set. Did I tell you about the setting people on fire party? It's like, I mean, I know we're living in a terrible, terrible time, but that's still setting someone on fire and crucifying an entire town.
Yeah, pretty much.
The one guy who I let a guy who won the lottery go. I know he's a powder ganger, but he clearly forgot that I'm a very hated person to his people, and just I thought, he seems to be quite delirious. He's going to run into the desert. He's going to die, so I'll just leave him to it.
It's funny though, because I think he was an ex-powder ganger as well.
Yeah, he said he's not a powder ganger anymore. You say like you actually have the speech check here. You go like, "Aren't you a powder ganger?" And he goes, "What? Well, yeah, used to be. No, now I'm a fucking winner."
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably kill him because he's so obnoxious, but other than that, literally, I didn't kill him because I didn't want to spend the bullet. It was too much cash. It would have hurt my bottom line just to kill him, because obviously he didn't have anything on him because he was just a prisoner of.
He's practically naked, didn't he?
Yeah, so he didn't have anything on him, so there was no point in killing him. So there's nothing to loot off him either. Same with boxcars. I let him live. I just walked off, just left him there because there's no point in killing him, because I was still hated by them, but not vilified. Well, not yet, anyway.
I think boxcars can't do much to you anyway, because I am vilified by them, and he didn't. He just swore a lot and then whinged, and I gave him some medics because I thought, meh. And then I just wanted to see what would happen, and he was a bit ungrateful about that. But as my rule is, if they don't shoot at me, I'm not going to shoot at them. So I did not kill either of them. Yeah,
so I came out, and after speaking to him, I walked around the corner and obviously seen. Did you have guys with heads on spikes?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a horrific town. Like the sort of the imagination, sort of, it's pretty depraved. Whoever came up with that idea, like, we're just going to kill everyone and set people on fire.
So I walk up, and as you sort of strolling up there, he comes out the front door of the town hall, and then all his guys fucking follow him, and they're all around him. And literally made up my mind right then and go, well, attacking them's a stupid idea. So we won't do that. So they're obviously not attacking me yet. Let's go see what they want. So I sort of strolled up. I had Eddie with me at the time. But strolled up and said yo, what's going on? And he started started talking. We cleansed this town, sort of thing. And then he goes, I want you to spread the word of what we did here. And I went, yep, sure, no worries. And he goes, right, thanks. And then he left. That was it.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. I'm sure I could have argued with him, and is that I wanted to be like, you're despicable, but it's just like, no, you crack on, son. Off you go. I'll tell everyone. Don't worry. Yay! I was thinking,
you give him the thumbs up as well.
Well, you actually can get, if you go through the speech line, because I chose the very top line, and he just the top line was, I'll do that. And then he goes, all right, thanks, and then he leaves. But if you go to the second line to sort of question what he done, you can get through a speech trickle get to a speech line of where you agree with what he did. If you say that the town deserved it, you get Legion fame. So you get so they like you a little bit more. So it can lead to getting idolized by the by the Legion, if you so wish. But I just said, hey, thanks. I went in and cleared. I went in and cleared all the buildings, but you're so right, it really wasn't worth it. Apart from all the dog hides and the dog meat, there was hardly anything in there. There was a few bullets here and there, and I did manage to get, I don't think you guys have it, a leather backpack. That gives me an extra 50 carry weight.
All right.
Oh, that's cool. No, I don't have anything like that.
Nope.
I managed to get over encumbered in Nipton because I picked up so much crap. So I had to go through, and I was like, I have picked up some stuff. It's not worth anything, so let's get rid of the stuff. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes a while for you to get somewhere where you're going to have like safe storage. I think it's actually the next set of quests that we get to where we can get somewhere where it'll give you a place of your own where it's yours and you can store all your crap there as safe storage. I'm sure there's other places you can go to, but this is the first one you get that's in line with our set of quests. So I've been holding back and sort of like just sending my stuff back and forth between the two mailboxes. Did you know about the mailboxes?
Yeah.
No, I did not know about mailboxes.
You know the big FedEx looking ones, the big blue ones. There's one outside the Goodsprings store, and there's one inside the Mojave Express.
Mojave Express, yeah, I saw it. I didn't.
And what it allows you to do,
You,
because you're a courier, you can send packages for free. So what you do is you go into it, and then you can put all your crap into it, and it'll put all the packages, as in like, you know, well, it's all in your mind, but you know, this is what you're saying to yourself you're doing, is that you're putting it in there and sending it to Prim. So you're in Prim and you're sending it to Goodsprings. So you can put all that stuff, put it inside the box, like all your scrap metal and all your guns that you want to sell, and you send it all to Goodsprings. You travel to Goodsprings and you go to the box again, and then when you activate the box, you recover all your stuff, and then you can go into the store and sell all your crap.
I have to do that then. I have to get onto that one because I
It's,
have a lot of crap at the moment.
yes, it's one of those games that even though like there's not as much in it as there is in Fallout 4, you still endlessly collect a load of crap. It's like, I know I'm going to need that scrap metal. Like when I'm level 65 and I'm making my own bullets and sort of like, you know, building my rocket launchers and stuff like that, I'm going to need that scrap metal. So.
No, I know what you mean, though. It's sort of like it's a bit of a nightmare when it comes to that because you just crap. I mean, for me, it was loads of different crappy rifles and pistols and stuff like that floating around, and armor. And all I do is just to get my repair skill up. I just repaired a load of stuff and messed around and just used the experience off of that to sort of fuel my repair because of my I think built to destroy perk. My guns degrade a lot faster, so
Yes.
Fun.
Actually, speaking of that, I managed to pick up a second follower. I haven't gotten all the way to, because at the moment I've been running around a lot. As I was saying earlier, I've been kind of crabbing, sort of like been going to side on the map instead of going straight forward. So I'm not carrying on with the quests, but I've been sort of like going around the side areas and opened up a few things that I've missed in previous playthroughs. And I went down instead of when I went back to Goodsprings, I was wandering around. I found Goodsprings Cave, and in there there's a weapon in there, which was pretty nice, but it was an energy weapon. And my perception is like, you know, what is I think his perception covers energy weapons. The crap anyway. It's like 12 or something like that. I mean, energy weapons. So I just sell all of those. But I went all the way down to Sloan. I did. I went to Sloan with a bloody cowboy repeater, and I was talking to the guy just outside Sloan, and he said, "Oh, hold up there. There's death claws, blah blah blah, in Sloan, blah blah blah, in the quarry." And you're like, and I go, "Oh, I can clear those out for you." And he turns. Usually he says, "Oh, well, if you do, blah blah blah," and he gives you a quest. But to me, he was like, "No, if somebody who's going to clear out as the meanest, toughest, roughest, tumbling, meanest son of a bitch alive, and that ain't you, so you better stay away." I was like, "Oh, fuck you." So I went in there anyway, and I cleared out all the, all the death claws, and done the mama and papa. From there, then I went up to Black Mountain and done the super mutants after I heard the the radio, and I managed to get my other follower, which is Raoul. Raoul, his perk that he gives you when he's traveling with you is that all your items degrade a lot slower because he's a mechanic.
Mm.
And he's voiced by Danny Trejo. So
that's pretty cool.
Fair enough.
yeah, he's really cool, and he plays this. He's a ghoul, and he's like really old. He's like a pre-war ghoul,
Nice.
and all he does is just constantly complain. It's like when I go into sneak mode, which because sneak's one of my tags, I do it quite a lot. It's like, oh yeah, no worries, boss. Because you're just gonna make an old man get down on the dirt to try and hide from my enemies and stuff like that. Or he'll turn around and say, and he goes, oh yeah, don't worry, I don't think they saw me. Not unless my creaking knees gave us away.
Yeah. Nice. Mm.
So, yeah, so I've been running around with him, and I've done a few quests I went over the hills and far away, as the saying goes, and done a few things with the Great Khans, and delivered some drugs and stuff like that, and got some fame over there. So I haven't gone, I haven't been to Nipton yet. Not Nipton, been to Nipton, Novak yet. So I've been avoiding that area and just sort of like, as I say, going side to side on the map instead of going straight up and straight through.
Mm.
That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, because
I guess that's you've got time, I suppose, haven't we?
Mm.
So.
I mean, I obviously skipped through and went to Novak first anyway. So it was one of those things where I thought it's best to get both of my followers first and then go through it all, really, because when I was lowish level, it was quite a slog in some cases, especially with Death Claws.
Yeah.
But once I had Eddie and Boone, they're quite a good team together.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
yeah, so once that happened, then it's slowly like a snowball. I've been gathering a little bit more momentum and packing in the old layers, and getting my I think my guns are now at 100. My sneak is, I think, sort of mid to late 80s now. Yeah, so I'm getting there.
Yeah, I think I've got a picture of you. Is there any? You guys know the some of the perks you've chosen since the last time, or like since the perks that you've had?
I can't remember what I've added. No, yeah, I can't remember at all.
No, I know that I've killed enough sort of like wasteland creatures and stuff like that to get I think a random perk that gives me extra damage against them now.
Yeah, you got ones like animal control, bug stomper.
Yep, got that.
And you also got Lord Death.
Yep, got that.
Which is basically, you get a bonus for killing everything because you like to kill everything. Yep. I think that's what the description is.
Yeah, I think that you get that after killing 100 something enemies.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Given that Marcus is killing everything, that does not surprise me.
Yep.
Yeah, true. But I think it's more like not killing everything. It's more like kill anything with Marcus. It's just like, it moves, it gets a bullet.
They look at him funny, it gets a bullet.
yeah, pretty much. I'd like to share bullets. It's my way of caring. Sharing is caring. And I care with hot lead.
I just hit level 18, and some of the ones that I chose were was it comprehension, which is the one that I said I was going to choose last time, which was the one that lets books give me double. So instead of getting an extra 10 in a certain skill for a limited amount of time, I get 20. So I've got, like, what is it? I was talking to one of the drug dealers, and I can sell him recipes, but you got to have the science to be able to know the recipe to be able to sell it to him. And I had a science of 30, and the requirement was 50. So I just had to read a Programmer's Digest and then I can pass all the speech checks to be able to sell them 3 drug recipes. I think it was for Party Mentats, Slasher and Rushing Water, I think.
Mm.
Which so that run out. And then my other 2 favorite perks was Hand Loader, because I love making all the different types of bullets. So I'm always at the the reloading bench, taking all my bullets apart, stripping them down for parts, and then building my own bullets. And when you get to guns 90, you get all the bullet recipes are open to you. So I can now make all the armor piercing, the hollow points, the JFP, the JSPs, all those, and like the special 40mm grenades, the plasma ones, incendiary ones, pulsed ones. I love that. And then the other one, the last perk I wanted to talk about is repair. Yeah, I need repair of 90, and it's jerry rigging, which is pretty much I can repair like a 9mm. I can repair a 44 Magnum with a 357 Magnum. I can repair power armor with metal armor. So you don't have to be running all over the wasteland trying to find the very specific armor, or pay because you can pay people to repair your crap, but they charge like 10,000 caps or something like that just to repair your armor or something like that if it's down low enough.
Yeah, I mean, I got myself a sniper rifle by going all the way up to New Vegas and going to the NCR bit there and finding it on top of a bunk. And I thought, I'll have a look. I've got like 10,000 caps or something like that, and I'll go and see how much it takes to get it all fixed up. And because I've got a shit charisma, it cost like, I think it was like 20,000 or something like that cap. So I was like, no. I mean, thankfully, where I've been running through the wasteland, I think I had 3 repair kits. So I just threw those at it. And I think that took it up to like almost 2/3 health. So I was like, yeah. I was sort of happy with that at that point.
Because you're intelligent. You don't have a high repair yet. So you can't even make repair kits yet, can you?
No, I have an intelligence of 3.
Damn.
Yeah. So intelligence of 3, charisma of 1. So that's where my my special is quite low.
Yeah. So you're all yours is all combat, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah. Strength 7, perception 5, endurance 7, charisma 1, intelligence 3, agility 8, and luck 9.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're definitely built to destroy. That was definitely the right trait.
Yeah, I got that as well. Yeah, built to destroy and trigger discipline. So I couldn't have really gotten anything more. I mean, obviously, with if I managed to swap out survival for something a little bit more death dealing, maybe, because I've got guns, survival, and sneak. So
yeah, I have guns, sneak, and repair. So mine
that's
are
not
all
too bad, actually, is it?
Yeah, mine are coming on perfectly in line because when you're in sneak, if you shoot a target that isn't aware of you, you automatically crit.
Yep.
And that's one of the finite things of New Vegas that I liked. Not like that meter that you got in Fallout 4. I didn't like that at all.
No. I think also as well, I find that I get a higher crit as well if they're facing the opposite way. So if they're facing away from me, I've almost got a guaranteed crit. So even if I'm not sneaking, pretty much if they're facing away from me, because I've got a sniper rifle, they're far enough away, they probably wouldn't notice me anyway. So they just drop to the floor with pretty much 90% of their head missing.
Yeah, I like the cowboy repeater, the hunting rifle, because both of those have a bonus crit chance. and the little description down there at the bottom right. So, but I was having a big think, and it dawned on me last week, I think it was, while I was playing, is that I have guns and I have a strength of 9.
Yep.
That adds up to big guns.
That does add up to big guns, like mini guns.
Yeah. The only issue is that most of the big guns are governed by explosives, not fucking guns.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and my perception was it 2? It's increased to 3 with my hat, so my explosives was like 12. So I've been the last 3 levels I've put it all into explosives. Like imagine like 3 levels, where you put, because I've got all the like I got pretty high intelligence, but I've taken all the perks that give me 10% more experience points whenever experience points are earned, and I've taken 3 levels in that. So I think it's 16 little points that I can put into each skill, and the last 3 skills I've just dumped all into explosives, and it's still only up to 56. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, it'll be worth it when you get there.
Yeah, but was it if you go to Black Mountain? There's some big guns up there, and there's a big gun in the quarry by Sloan. It's a hell of a job getting it, but it's definitely worth it. And there's 2 big guns in the quarry that you can get. FYI. There's also a little quest in there for the Great Khans. They're right at the back. Make sure you don't shoot them in the face. Well, no, actually, just shoot them in the face. It's you. I forgot who I was talking to there.
Yeah. Should realise by now, pretty much any option I will take will pretty much be shooting them either in the leg or the face. Sometimes both.
So, do you guys have any future plans that something that you want to do with your character when we're coming up to the next quests, or where you wanted to go with the character? And
I think I'm going to kind of maybe start doing try and do more side quests. I think, as I said, but it does depend how much playtime I've got, because I've got quite a lot going on at the moment, so I'm not able to get in as many hours as I'd like. So, worst case scenario, I guess I do just stick to the assigned quests. But you guys sound like you've been having a lot of fun doing sort of this sort of crabbing, as it were. So I think I'll, if I've got time, I'll give that a bit of a go, just to hold off progressing with the main quests and do a bit more exploring, because I was looking at my map earlier today and I was like, it's quite empty. I'd like to have more on it. I'd like to be able to fast travel to more places.
Yes.
So yes, I think just for the sheer fact that I just want to get places ticked off the map, I'm gonna have to start going for a little bit of a walk.
The was it the next quests that are on? Was it September 28th? They went that away part 2, which is when we get to Novak, and there's some really nice small little side quests in there. So you can go and talk to Boone. Was it Marcus's partner in crime, his PIC, his PIC? But there's also a really great quest that's a part of it is Come Fly With Me. Yeah. And with your speech, you won't need to do Come Fly With Me, but I highly recommend that you do it.
Okay. Oh, wait. Well, it's one of the assigned ones, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's one of the assigned ones. So
I'm good. I will do what I'm told to do. Yeah. I feel like the Fallout Feed guys, they wrote it for a reason. I will do what they put the time and effort into writing the list. I will do the quests.
Or you could just do like Marcus does and just kill everybody and sort of like thus avoiding the quest altogether.
Well, this is also my first proper full-on.
Well, they are completing.
It's my first round table. I did it properly.
Goody two shoes. It tells you grew up in a vault.
Yeah. True.
Well, yes. I just think it's more because I'm a good person. The Fallout Feed people, as I said, love you guys. So you put this effort into writing this. I will do what you tell me.
Well, you've got Laura who does all the bits and pieces, and then you've got me that sort of
Shoots everyone in the face.
Shoots everyone in the face. Yeah.
It balances the seesaw.
Yeah.
It would be like really that's a really terrible like movie trailer tagline, isn't it? It's like Laura does all the bits and pieces, and she meets Marcus, who shoots people in the face. Together, they're on an adventure through the wasteland.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what they were calling it. What shooty face? I don't know. Do stuff. I don't know.
Laura and the face shooter.
Yeah, there we go. That doesn't sound dodgy at all. That sounds more like.
No, I was thinking it sounds like a porn title as well, but I wasn't going to say that. But hey.
Well, you know me. I'd take the straight line to it.
Yeah, and also you need to have the one old woman who turns to the camera and goes, "I'll have what she's having."
Yeah.
Of course.
Or that'll be me. That'll be me in a wig, just like I'll have what she's having.
Yeah, Colin's character. This is just is like super skillful and has all the levels, and then there's just me going from like thing to thing badly. This is a terrible gamer. It's like, why am I stuck in this corner? Why can't I jump over the fence? Where's the door out of this house that only has 3 rooms? Yet somehow I can't seem to find the door.
Something I did find out the other day, which really annoyed me, is that you can't jump while you're over encumbered. Which is really annoying.
That does make sense. I mean, that you've got so much, you can't, if you can barely walk, you're not going to be able to defeat gravity. But
yeah, but I wanted to get past this bed and chair to be able to get to the leather armor lying on the floor. and it just a tiny little jump would have got me there, and then I could have picked up that leather armor and then fixed the other leather armor with it, so that would put me back under. But no, wouldn't let me do that. I had to throw the leather armor on the floor, jump over, grab the other leather armor. By then, I was already over encumbered again. So, I was
like a toddler.
Yeah, it was like back before. I was just trapped inside, like all the bedroom furniture, and I just couldn't get out. It was horrible. I think it was in that room, that house with the traps. With see the house with the. Oh no, you walked back there again.
Yeah, fuck off. I walked in like, fuck this shit. No.
There was a house.
Didn't want to go in there anyway.
Well, whatchamacallit, with a bunch of bark scorpions in a massive box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And you're like, okay, and you can't shoot inside the box, even though there's holes in it. I'm trying to shoot inside the box. No, won't let me shoot in the box.
Tried to.
And
yeah, I was like those stormtroopers in the last Star Trek movie when the Kylo Ren's smacking up the console, and they just like, no, turn around. It's like, yeah, no, not having any of that. Not today. I want to live.
Yeah, that house was a pain in the ass. But one thing was it when I was talking to Vulpes, when he says, "Oh, we came here and we're to stuff like they never put up a fight or anything like that." I think I remember this from before, because on this one, as I said, I just said the top line and he said thanks and we'll laugh. But he does say stuff like they didn't even put up a fight, even as their loved ones are being dragged away, all this sort of stuff. But he's telling a load of bollocks, because there's
Mr. Gutsy in one house, and
there's
and
3
house is
dead.
House of Death.
Yeah, there's 3 dead legionnaires, I think.
Yeah,
there's
you find some dead legionnaires.
Yeah, so they obviously did fight
armor.
back. He's talking a
lying moron.
Yeah, but even
I think we've established this. There's some writing errors here.
Who wears a coyote on your head and isn't a dick? That's all I can say, really.
Fair enough.
Style choices were obviously very poor at that moment.
Well, I think one of the Legion guys you find is in the house with the Mr. Gutsy, so I just assume maybe after they killed the entire townspeople, they one of them randomly wandered into that particular house and got what was coming to him. Maybe that's the story behind that one.
Yeah. And then there's one over by where the caravans are, where the burnt out caravans.
Okay.
There's a
I've
pyre.
explored properly.
Yeah, now there's a pile of ashes on the floor, and if you look inside the pile of ashes, it's a Legionnaire outfit and a machete. So it was a Legionnaire that somebody had killed with a laser or a plasma rifle. No, it was ash. So that's lasers. Laser will turn stuff to ash. Right.
So there was some resistance. So Volkers was lying, but maybe he obviously wants to convince you that they're super hardcore and the town was immoral and corrupt, and so he's just feeding you some bollocks, and then you go feed it to whatever his name is in at the sergeant, whatever his name is at the outpost, and he's like, oh my god, holy shit. He has the right reaction. Ghost's reaction is terrible. His is like the proper one, which is like crap.
Like, what? They did what? Oh, they were over the board. Oh, what? No way, man. And then he just tells everybody.
That's what he's going to do now. I mean, that's kind of where I've left it. I told him, and then I was like, my worker is done.
Yeah.
So that's done. That's basically up to the end of my playthrough anyway. So I finished that quest, and that's it for now. Yes.
You guys have anything else before we close out the evening? I think I'm all tapped out.
No,
Yeah.
I think that is everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done on that one, I must admit.
Awesome.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Laura, and
No
thank you,
worries.
Marcus, for joining us on Nigel. If you have any questions or any sort of like feedback you want to give back to the Nigelites here, just put it in the Facebook group or send it all into Andrew or something like that. I'm sure he'll get to us.
Yeah. Any questions like how do we play whilst drinking tea? I think no one's asked us that, but they should.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And do we have a portrait of the Queen with us at all times when we
Yes.
play on our Xbox? Obviously, yes, of course we do.
And, have our toast done on one side.
Yeah. And every Xbox in England comes with a statuette of the Queen anyway.
Yes.
And mine's got a Union flag print over it, so yeah,
there you
it's
go.
ultra patriotic. I mean, it's just very inconvenient when you are playing and you get the hourly, stand up for the anthem. I mean, that does cut into game time, but yeah, it's fine.
I sort of like I just give us sort of like a half-ass salute because I'm from one of the colonies, of course.
Do you do more of a sort of Rimmer style salute?
Yeah, that's it. So like the old spam H head.
Yep.
Or I might do a Michael Flatley and just like go nuts. It depends on whether the
what the Ministry of Silly Walk style.
Michael Flatley, legend. He's not. It's like Michael Flatley. He's not even Irish, is he? Michael Flatley, isn't he American? Like that was like.
Everybody's
weird
Irish.
thing.
Anybody is like, you're Irish. Oh, my nan's second removed cousin's best friend had a Guinness once somewhere on a holiday in Mexico.
And instantly became Irish.
Yeah, it's if you're Irish, you'll always have a friend. He'll more than likely, no matter where you go in the world, but he'll more than likely be in the pub and he'll have no money.
And always will be bumming a cigarette. Yeah.
Yes.
To be fair, at least you don't get asked. I think if you're English, you get asked a lot. Oh, have you met the Queen? And but I have, so I actually get to answer that. Yes, I have. Had lunch with her. Boom.
Nice.
Humble brag. So that's fun. But I think I'm one of the few people who gets to answer that question like that.
Yeah, I think my mother and sister went to their house. That's about it.
Nice. It's a big house. It's a nice house.
Yeah, they had to pay to get in, but yeah.
Yeah, I should do that. I don't think anyone would want to pay to get to my house. So,
I think they would be sorely disappointed with my house. So yeah.
They could see my DVD collection. It's quite impressive. Oh yeah, but awesome. No, that is, thanks again for having me on. It's been lots of fun. I've enjoyed it, and yeah, as I said, finding out from you guys the different sort of the really different games you're both having, which I think this is working quite well in the sense that we're all doing completely different things, really, by the sounds of it, which makes it interesting.
Yeah, I've never been a drug dealer before, and it pays quite well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just so you know, kids. Just so you know.
Just so you know, yeah.
Just say no, sell it instead.
Just so you know.
yeah. Don't use it. It's bad.
It's true. Yeah,
Don't use drugs. Sell drugs. All right. And on that note, thank you very much for listening. And as I said, if you need to get in contact with us, just do it through the Facebook group. Okay. Later, guys.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Drivers, start
your engines!
your engines!
Calling all fans of Mario Kart to assemble for our newest ASA podcasting project called ASA Pod Karting. Grab your Switch and hit us up at asapodkarting@gmail.com for more information.
Welcome to Mario Kart!
Following total atomic annihilation, it may fall to you to save the great nation. That's why Voltech has made extra preparation and are proud to present to you a special education.
Would you like a very spiffy, brand new ASA podcasting t-shirt? Well, that's great because we have two brand new designs, one for a Skyrim addict and one for the Fallout Feed over at etsy.com/shop/ASA podcasting.
Supply the spark, so on seeing something sweet, be sure to scan your staff.
Shalene Landia.
Oh, Miss Effie was her name. Through the West she won her fame.
Vendertron, Rick, and I are proud to present GameStack, part of We Just Love Games, the podcast dedicated to bringing you everything gaming and some not-so-gamey topics.
With the success Shalene and I had with Katie Radio and Fallout Off the Record had with Shalene and Rick, imagine what we can do together.
And you can catch us live at twitch.tv/We Just Love Games on Fridays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also find us on Twitter at We Just Love Games and on our YouTube channel, We Just Love Games.
GameStack, because we just love games.
I'll never, never do it again.
Hello and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Colleen.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Broadcast. Think of us as girls' night in podcast form.
Feminism,
sex,
relationships,
politics,
pop culture.
Nothing is off limits.
And we mean nothing.
So pop a bottle and grab a bag of Fritos.
I have really good chips here.
And come speak your feels with us. That's what she said.
The broadcast.
Proud member of Jay and Jack Productions and Blog Talk Radio.
Find us on iTunes or wherever else you get your podcasts.
What is Jay and Jack's Ramblecast? The Ramblecast is a podcast about television, movies, current events, and anything else our listeners want to talk about. We sit down weekly to give our take on what's going on in the world, and we have a lot of fun doing it, typically at the expense of one or all of our hosts. Join Jay, Jack, Nick from Tennessee, and me, Chris in Boston, as we pull no punches, giving our opinions on everything from our favorite music and TV shows to the hostile takeover of sex robots. Subscribe today.